You wake up before the alarm on a Tuesday, and the reason you wake up is not that anything is wrong. You have just stopped needing the alarm. You make coffee, you sit down, your phone buzzes once on the counter, a deposit notification from your brokerage, and it landed at some point in the night while you were asleep. $27. $27 is what $10,000 pays you in a month, and $10,000 took you 2 years to save. Here is what nobody tells you about that morning. It is real. The money did arrive while you were asleep, and you did not trade an hour for it, and every single thing people say about that feeling is accurate. It is just much, much smaller than they let you believe, and it stays small for a long time. So let's do this properly. 7 numbers, from $10,000 to the number that actually replaces an American income. What each one pays, what each one buys, what each one costs you to reach, and at the 4th rung, the thing that dividend videos never mention, which is that the money arriving in your account was already yours. $10,000. Age 27. You buy the boring one, not a stock, a dividend ETF. SCHD, Schwab's U.S. Dividend Equity Fund, 100 large American companies chosen for paying and raising. Ticker nobody at your office has heard of. It yields 3.25%. Write that number down because almost every video on this subject quietly uses 4, and 4 is not a number you can actually buy. The S&P 500 pays 1.06% right now. Vanguard's High Yield Fund pays 2.21. 3.25 is near the top of what mainstream funds are genuinely paying, and it is what we're going to use the whole way up. $10,000 at 3.25% pays you $325 a year. That is your phone bill. One bill covered forever by money you are not working for. Not your rent, not your groceries, your phone. A coworker sees the app open on your laptop at lunch and asks what it is. You tell him. He does the math out loud, gets to $27 a month, and says something friendly and dismissive. And he is not wrong. $27 is not a life. You don't argue. You reinvest it. $10,000, $325 a year, $27 a month, year 1. $50,000, age 31. 4 years of $800 a month plus what the market added. $50,000 at 3.25% pays $1,625 a year. That is roughly your electricity for a year. And this is the first rung where it stops being a novelty because a power bill is not a luxury. It is a thing that arrives whether you want it to or not, and something other than your labor is now handling it. You notice it in a specific, stupid way. You leave a light on in the hallway and you catch yourself not caring, not because you're rich, because that particular bill is somebody else's problem now, and the somebody else is 100 American companies you have never visited. You do not tell anyone this. There is no version of saying it out loud that sounds normal. $50,000 invested, $16.25 a year, $135 a month, 5 years in. $100,000, age 34, 6 figures, the one everybody photographs. $100,000 at 3.25% pays $3,250 a year. And here is where I have to interrupt the fantasy, because that is not the number that reaches you. You are 34. You have a job. That salary already fills up your tax brackets, so your dividends stack on top of it, and qualified dividends at your income are taxed at 15%. That's $488 to the federal government. Your state takes maybe another $160, $2,600, $217 a month, which is roughly a year of groceries for one person. That's the honest version. $100,000, a decade of genuine sacrifice for most people, buys you food. Not a house, not a car. Food. Every video that shows you $100,000 paying $4,000 is doing 2 things at once: using a yield you can't buy and quietly forgetting that you have a job. $100,000 invested, $2,600 after tax, $217 a month, 8 years in. $250,000, age 41. $250,000 pays $8,125 a year. Your car, the payment, the insurance, the gas, the registration, the tires, all of it, every year, from something that is not you. This is also the rung where somebody sends you a screenshot. A friend has found a stock yielding 11%, paying monthly, and the yield is real. He's not lying, and the number on the screen is not made up. 11% of your $250,000 would be $27,000 a year instead of $8,000. So here is the mechanism, because the mechanism is the whole answer. Yield is not a quality. It is a fraction, the dividend divided by the price. Which means there are two ways for it to go up. The company raises the payout, or the price collapses while the payout hasn't been cut yet. Those produce an identical number on the screen for opposite reasons. A company paying $2 a year at a $40 share price yields 5%. Let the price fall to $20 and it yields 10, and nothing good has happened. The market has already decided that dividend is coming down. You are looking at the gap between what the company still promises and what the market believes, and that gap closes from one direction only. When you sort a screener by yield, the top of that list is not the most generous companies in America. It is largely a list of companies whose boards have not made the announcement yet. You tell him to check the payout ratio. He sends back a laughing emoji. $250,000 invested, $8,000 a year, $677 a month, 15 years in. $500,000, age 48. $500,000 pays $16,250 a year. Rent in a lot of this country, not in Los Angeles. In most places that are not Los Angeles. And this is where we have to deal with the thing the entire genre leaves out, because at this number, it starts costing you real money. A dividend is not income. It is a partial liquidation of something you already own. When a company pays a dividend, it moves cash off its own balance sheet and onto yours. The company is now worth exactly that much less. On the ex-dividend date, the share price drops by roughly the dividend, not as a reaction, not as sentiment, but arithmetically, because the cash that was inside the company is not inside it anymore. You had a share worth $30. It pays you $1. You now have a share worth $29 and $1. You have precisely what you had 10 seconds ago, except the IRS has now seen 15 cents of it. Nothing was created. Nothing was earned. $1 moved from one of your pockets into the other one and got taxed, crossing the gap. This is not a hot take. It is how the accounting works, and you can watch it happen on any X date you feel like checking. Which produces the part that costs money. Chasing yield is not the same as chasing return. A fund returning 8% in total and paying one of it out has made you more money than a fund returning 6% and paying 4%. The second one feels like income. The first one feels like nothing is happening. The first one is the one you are richer for owning. There is also a thing that happens at this rung that has nothing to do with the arithmetic. In March, your company runs a round of layoffs. You are not in it. Somebody 2 desks over is, and you help him carry a box to his car, and neither of you says much. That evening, you do a calculation you have never done before. $16,000 a year from the account, plus what is sitting in checking, against what it actually costs to run your life. You get to about 7 months. 7 months is not freedom. Nobody retires on 7 months. But you have spent 22 years being a person for whom the answer to that question was 3 weeks, and you are not that person now. You don't tell your wife the number. You just sleep normally, which you notice the next morning. $500,000 invested, $16,000 a year, $1,350 a month. 22 years in. $1 million. Age 56. $1 million pays $32,500 a year. That is a working American salary, arriving without the work. You are 56. It took 30 years of $800 a month every month through 2 recessions and one stretch where you nearly stopped. And this is the rung where you find out the checks are not a law of nature. In the second quarter of 2020, S&P Dow Jones indices counted 62 dividend decreases in the S&P 500. 41 of those were not reductions, they were suspensions. companies that simply stopped. 13% of the index cut inside a single quarter. If you were living on those checks, 13% of your employers laid you off in 3 months, and nobody sent you a letter. The specific version is General Electric, which for about 40 years was the stock people bought precisely so they would never have to think about this. On November 13, 2017, GE cut its quarterly dividend from 24 cents a share to 12, only its second cut since the Great Depression. 11 months later, on October 30, 2018, it cut again, 12 cents to 1 cent. 24 cents to a penny in under a year. $1 million of GE paying roughly $30,000 became $1 million of GE paying about $1,200, and the share price had already collapsed, so selling was not an exit either. Those people were not reckless. They bought the safest dividend in America. Now, in fairness, and I have spent 6 minutes taking this apart, so I owe you the strongest argument on the other side. It is called yield on cost, and it is real. The 3.25% you started with is not the 3.25% you keep. Companies that pay dividends tend to raise them, and the raise lands on shares you bought at a price from years ago. So the yield measured against what you originally paid climbs every year, even while the yield measured against today's price never moves. Put a number on it. If your payout grows 8% a year, and I want to be careful, that is an illustrative rate, not a promise about any fund, a starting yield of 3.25% becomes roughly 15% on your original cost after 20 years. Which is why the people who do this are not fools. Somebody who bought a boring dividend payer in 2006 and did absolutely nothing since may now be collecting a double-digit annual return on the money they put in. The caveat is that the same growth is showing up in the share price of the total return investor standing next to you, who simply isn't being taxed on it every year. Yield on cost is a genuine effect. It is not a free one. $1 million invested, $32,500 a year, $2,700 a month. 30 years in, $2,576,000. Age 69. Here is the actual answer to the question in the title. The median American household income is $83,730. That's the Census Bureau's most recent official figure. To produce that from dividends at 3.25% without selling a single share, you need $2,576,000. At $800 a month from age 26, you get there at 69. That is the number nobody puts in a thumbnail, and it is not pessimism. It is the same division problem run honestly. Double the contribution to $1,600 a month, and it arrives at 60 instead. 9 years bought with the only lever that actually moves this. Not the fund, not the yield, not a clever ticker. The amount. $2.5 million invested, $83,700 a year, 43 years in. So the question was how much you need, and the answer is between $2.5 and $4 million, depending entirely on which fund you buy. And if you are doing it on $800 a month, you should expect to arrive somewhere near 70. Now, the two things that are genuinely mechanically excellent about this, neither of which is the one people advertise. The first is tax, and it is the reveal the fantasy versions get backwards. They show you $1 million paying $40,000 and tell you it's tax-free while you're still working. It isn't. Your salary fills the brackets first, and the dividends stack on top at 15%, which is the $488 I took off you at rung 3. But the day the salary stops, the brackets empty out. And in 2026, the 0% rate on qualified dividends runs to $49,450 for a single filer and $98,900 for a married couple. A retired couple whose income is qualified dividends under $98,900 pays nothing federal. Not deferred, nothing. There is no other six-figure income in the tax code treated that gently. You did not get a tax-free income. You got a tax-free retirement, and only after the paycheck stops. The dividend is not extra money. It is your own capital handed back on a schedule you don't control and taxed on the way. The yield you were shown was probably a quarter higher than anything you can buy. And the number is bigger and later than the fantasy, on every rung. None of that makes it a bad idea. It makes it a slower one than you were sold. $27 is still real. It just isn't $27 for very long, and nothing about that was ever going to happen quickly.